No, dang it.
Well, that's how we're gonna start the podcast.
You can only imagine what was happening.
with the Mario references.
Jedi business. Go back to your drinks.
Mario business. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of PNP's Den of Antiquities. Today, we're here to talk about episode 8 of Ahsoka, the Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord. And I'm joined by the usual peeps. What did you guys think of that title? Do you think it has any, like, because it's kind of a play on the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Do you think it has any kind of, other than just kind of like a fun nod to it? Because I couldn't really find any meaning behind it other than that.
Yeah, I mean, Strike was saying too, like the good, the bad, the ugly.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
like the Lion, the Witch, the Wardrobe has a more mystical sense to it. So I was leaning more towards that, Narnia.
I was there when the magic was written.
Do not speak the text, David. Text to be witch.
But let me know what you guys thought. Because I wasn't there for the watch party. I went back and watched it. But I'm curious to hear what your guys' thoughts were overall for the episode before we kind of deep dive into it.
Very much enjoyed it. Flipping amazing. Some great crazy moments. I very much love this show. Just my face hurting from smiling many times from previous episodes, and there were definitely a couple of moments I'm like, wait, what? And I was like, but yeah, as far as I don't know, just flipping awesome. I mean, last thing you ever expect to happen, zombie troopers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's a hell of a thing.
And death troopers too.
Yeah,
double death trooper.
Yeah,
literally. My little awesome thing that I was watching it, but I was like, go, is getting Bruce Lee's goddaughter to actually do another scene of round 2.
Oh, dude, we'll talk about that. She was epic, man.
Rosaria is good with weapons, but I knew as soon as she got one, Dan Inosanto's daughter, because she does Filipino martial arts as well, and also getting the sword of Mother Talzin. Stanley's, I just seen you, hey bud, was a great thing, because I'm like, in my head, I was like, wait, the episode from when Mother Talzin and Mace Windu fought and Jar Jar Binks was there? That thing? And just brain explosion.
In the desert?
Even Sons of Dathomir, there's that one cover.
Yup. Gotta love that book. Love it. But there was so many great things. I will get to everything, but like the ending was fun. My favorite character shows up.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
I love the whole thing of it. But my 2 cents for now, I'm sure. So these amazing other people go. I enjoyed it. I loved it. And I love being there with my own brace.
Nice.
Yeah, it was overall a really well-made show. The only gripe I had with it is that I wish there were more episodes.
Same.
Like, I really don't like that these producers and directors are thinking 8 episodes is enough. Like, Andor had 12 episodes, and even though it was a slow burn, I still felt like it was enough to tell the story. Whereas 8 episodes, I feel like you're getting to certain things, but then you start rushing, like, the important moments, or, like, some things kind of get left out. Like, oh, well, didn't we explain this? And you think it's going to be explained in later episodes, and then it never gets really addressed. That's just my minor gripe.
Andor had 12, right?
Yeah, 12 episodes total.
I think this one could have easily had 2 more episodes for sure, and to explain some stuff. Like, we'll get into some of the stuff but like definitely a lot of the stuff at the end, which we'll get to. Like, I felt was kind of rushed a little bit, and maybe it was rushed for specific reasons. I'm kind of talking in code, but we'll get to that once we get to that part. But yeah, I feel that the ending of the show was like the last 5 minutes was like here's the stuff. You're like, bro, slow down. I'm trying to enjoy everything.
They really went with the cliffhanger, and the cliff went.
Yeah, for sure.
No, definitely. But overall, I did really enjoy this show, and I thought it was really well made. And man, I think a lot of producers and directors in the future need to take some notes between this and Andor. It's like those are my top two favorite Disney Plus and Star Wars shows overall, and I think they need to see the patterns there and go, okay, what can we do to make the Skeleton Crew good, and future shows and
let Dave write it. I got something in my throat. My bad.
I got the reference.
But Mike, JT, what'd you guys think?
It was good, dude. I mean, as a whole, it was good. As an episode, it was good. I had a few minor things I was about with some of the choreography, which is honestly not bad at all, because on the other side, the good parts of the choreography were freaking insane. I never pause or rewind or anything during the episode, just because I keeping it flowing. But there's 2 times in that episode I was like, wait, let me just watch that 5 seconds back again. So that says a lot. And yeah, definitely a good ending. I do think they packed in a lot of stuff at that last 2 minutes of the episode, but it was also nice to see, because I feel like a lot of the time they're showing oh, this is what the bad guys are doing, this is what the good guys are doing, and then it ends, but we're here's this character, what they're doing, and this character. And honestly, a lot of them I forgot about. It obviously insanely unfortunate. What, Ryan Stevenson, I believe, right? Seeing him at the end, and I'm that looks freaking awesome.
Yeah.
But I totally forgot about him. I was I knew he's a character, but oh yeah, he's going off to do his thing, and then Shin's going off to do her thing, and obviously we saw freaking Ezra, and I'm I wish that would have went longer. I'm okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, good episode, super awesome stuff, and from a Star Wars fan that obviously I like the in-universe everything, if it was real, but I also really love looking at what they're doing from making a movie standpoint, and there's a few really awesome things that they did in here where I'm oh, that's homage to this, and they did that, and little kind of connections, so that made me happy. So it's good.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. JT?
I mean, you guys said it all, really. But I'm still on rose-tinted glasses from episode 5.
Right.
I think I'll be on that for quite some time.
Yeah,
so
for sure. That was a good episode, too. It's hard to come back from that one, with the amount of emotion that's packed in.
It's real that, we even got that. But, I mean, that was the icing on the cake, because the series, to begin with, is already cranking out amazing stuff with Thrawn's introduction and Ray Stevenson's performance. Every single time Hu Yang or Ray Stevenson are on screen, it just steals the show.
Yeah, for sure. It just
blatantly steals it, and my eyes are glued to it. But this episode had a lot of cool stuff. I'm gonna leave it at that so we can go through each of them. But I enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Dude, Ray Stevenson for me came out of left field, dude. I didn't watch The Punisher. I didn't really know that he was in Thor, because he's one of the kind of the background characters, and I hadn't seen him in anything else. And honestly, if I had to pick one thing that surprised me, other than Hayden, obviously, but that surprised me in the show was how well he delivered all of his lines, all his acting, his fighting. It just it blew me away, and it's such a sad thing to see that. I hope even if they end up going a different route with it, I'm not super opposed to them recasting it. It will never be the same, obviously, but if they don't, I hope we get it in some capacity, whether it's Tales of the Jedi, or if they do a Tales of the Sith or something like that in animated form. Hopefully we get something that his story is too good to just leave it where they left it.
Well, not even just his story, but keeping it vague, because we just at the last episode understood what this power is that he's going after, but it's still left in the air. And Christopher Lee, Count Dooku, Willy Wonka's dad, Dracula, he's Saruman. He's one of my favorite actors. So, I mean, to see Rafe Stevenson portray that kind of methodical, calm, but don't step on me kind of nature is it really makes you wonder, like, what if Dooku survived and how he would act in the galaxy if he did. And
dude, I think it would change for sure. It would. Palpatine would definitely see him as a threat.
It's an interesting take. I mean, even to see like the Dark Jedi as well on the big screen.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw the image. I'm pretty sure I posted it in our group chat, but I'm blanking on the guy's name. But the guy that plays Sabretooth in the Wolverine movies, they like photoshopped his face on to Ray Stevenson. And
Victor Creed.
Yeah, they photoshopped his face onto Ray Stevenson's like as Balin, and it looked pretty like spot on. And I feel like he could definitely he has the chops. I've seen him in a whole bunch of stuff. He has the chops. I definitely think to kind of bring that intensity if they were even wanting to go that. They might even do like a Book of Boba Fett where they like kind of deep fake his face, like they did with Luke. So, but to move on to the episode, man, the first thing we get right off the bat is the homage to, I feel like mostly I would say Clone Wars, but they do have a little Night Sister magic in the Rebel show as well, with when Ezra and Maul go to they're on Dathomir, right? Yeah, they're on Dathomir when they do the ritual. And man, I'm gonna show this image. We've never seen how Night Sisters get their tattoos.
Power up.
But this was so freaking cool, man. How it goes from basically like fire that's like burning it to like the green fire. And then not only does she get the tattoos, but she gets the black eyes, man. Like that was so freaking
What did they call that too? The ability to see the shadow realm or something?
Shadow, yeah.
Oh, yes.
I think so. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
But so with this like tattooing, super cool to see how it's done. But I think this was a kind of on the spot promotion. I think if they have a lot of time and they're whatever just hanging around, they'd be more accurate with whatever tattoos they're doing. Because you look at someone like Asajj Ventress, something like on like going from her mouth to like her like jaws to her cheek is like really thin. You wouldn't expect like a finger to imprint that. Yeah. So this is probably like, you willing to throw everything behind? I'll do it. Okay, zap.
It's like, we grant you the rank of master.
Literally. Yeah, she got a good Zenkai boost from this, man. Sense of being just went a long way.
Dude, she got possessed.
Because they're like, oh, we're about to kill you off. We're gonna give you an awesome look before we send you on your way. But no, I mean, it was super cool. I know I'm skipping ahead, kind of towards the end, but I love it when Thrawn goes, hey, you're gonna have to stay behind for the Empire, and he's like, long live. And then she's like, yeah, okay. And then as soon as he like walks away, she's like, screw the Empire for Dathomir, man. Like I was like, hey, I was like, let's go. Like she's doing it for her sisterhood and she's been kind of even more so initiated into the Night Sisters, man.
Yeah. And even you go into Fallen Order and like Survivor and all that, and you can hear the way Marin interacts with Cal, like, your kind slaughtered my species, But all they saw was just a figure with a lightsaber. It could have been a Sith, it could have been a Jedi, It was Grievous, So they just blamed the Jedi for it.
The one guy with the green and blue lightsabers.
I know. Grievous's Force Ghost is like rolling in his grave. He's gonna be like, "Ha, screw you, Jedi." He's like, "Who's got the laugh now, Kenobi?"
I'm gonna give you guys a bad name from the afterlife. Got him.
So when you hear her say like, "No, for Dathomir," off to herself, I mean, she's really avenging what the Separatists, blamed them for. So
I did enjoy as well them giving her like the voice thing as well. That kind of echoes as well.
Yeah. Well, cause she does it at the end, right? She goes like "no" or something like that. And her
scary,
voice is all,
dude.
like,
she
modulated.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, geez. Like, say it with the chest. Not only do we get that, but we get freaking Mother Talzin's blade, dude. Like,
Boom.
how cool is that?
I'll
like
take
live
that.
action. It's a little different from how it looks in the Clone Wars, but who cares, man? Like, this
It's
is
green,
so
it's glowing, it's fire. Yes.
I was just so happy.
What
Dude, I was
more
just
could you
so
want?
happy.
Yeah,
To
exactly.
see so much green fire this
Thanks.
episode.
like you get to hear me.
Summoned out of the air.
Like that
So
blade
wizard.
looks so freaking cool. Like I definitely want to 3D print that eventually. I don't know how I could get
I
the
would
flame
love
effect,
to have a replica of that.
but that would be that it looks so cool. And then we get the let me get her with the
Dude,
the
it was like
flames
it
on
was
dude.
just
She's so deadly.
like Demon Slayer when the green flame
Yeah.
the katana. You grab it.
Whirlwind,
Fire breathing.
rising sun.
Oh no.
All the weebs come out.
Did you see how when she was actually doing some fighting with it, she's like really low to the ground and she does what Ronin does in was it Endgame? With the gauntlet that
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
I
super
noticed
sick.
that right away.
Yep. That woman is deadly with any weapon with her family and everything. Just God, I enjoyed they gave
You can
her
tell. We'll talk about that fight towards
Oh,
the
yeah.
end. That fight was like, dude, it gave me mad prequel vibes. But I feel like the two things we don't get a lot of in Star Wars, we don't get a lot of like saber training. I feel like it's really time to like show that, and I feel like they did that a lot in this show. And we also don't get a lot of like lightsaber building in live action. Like they've done a lot in like the Clone Wars show and stuff like that. And it was so cool to see like Ezra with like Hu Yang on the ship, and like Ezra's like giving him crap. He's like, yeah, you got a bunch of junk lying around, dude. He's like, I have a system. He's like, yeah, clutter's your system, But like, I thought it was so cool to actually see him build a lightsaber and like get a whole new, and not only get a lightsaber, but get the part that Kanan used. He's like, oh yeah, he's like, I kept one. Yeah.
But he also, like, shot for shot in the Clone Wars, like, he was in his drawers and his back arms were activating just like in the Clone Wars when he's going through all the pieces for the younglings. He's like, he's like opening the cabinets. It was super cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I wonder where he got his, like, does Hu Yang just have, like, extra crystals, though? Like, where did he find that blue crystal?
That's what I was wondering.
I would not be surprised if it's not either that or that planet has God knows what on it when it comes to
I guess that's true.
And Ezra has been there for a while, so I would not be surprised in the least if somehow he kept one of them from even like Rebels time, even though he went there with a green one. But still, at the same time, I would not put it past if he had like extra or something like that.
I'm so glad he got a blue one though, especially because like when they
it was his original color, man. Hell's yeah.
It was his original color. It's Kanan's color, his master, kind of paying homage to that. And then at the end, like I can't tell you the last time we've been in a room with like so many different color sabers when they're like fighting off all the night troopers. They got white, we got green, we got blue. Like it was so cool to see all the different colors like fighting together. But yeah, we get. Let me see. I think I have a shot of like his like the hilt. Yeah, him holding the hilt, man. Like it's such a cool feel to it because I really like Kanan's. It's very like old samurai, style, and it's like it's so cool.
I didn't really connect too much with Ezra and Rebels, along with some other characters, but. Seeing him hold a lightsaber and actually finally use it, besides just like I don't need that, I got the Force on my side, that was a pretty cool touch.
Oh yeah,
actually have a fight with it.
And then we get Ahsoka and Sabine, which I thought was a really nice. Like, I feel like that was a real Anakin move by Ahsoka, being like, hey, whether it was the right decision, whether it was the wrong decision, like I'm here for you, like I'm standing by your side. And I was just like, yeah, like I don't know. I was like, let's go. Like there you go. Like, I thought that this episode had a lot of really like heartwarming moments, like Ezra building the lightsaber and talking about Kanan and all that stuff, and then her being Ahsoka talking to Sabine about the relationship between a master and apprentice. Like I really loved those parts in it.
Yeah.
There was
I'm glad you mentioned those. Sorry.
No, I'm like very fast. I love in that little moment we get a callback to Clone Wars with Ahsoka and Anakin. That That works too, good sir.
But, I don't know. I don't know if that would work. I'll let you finish though.
Thank you. Anyways, I love the callback to Clone Wars that they have in here, because Ahsoka, like Anakin always stood by me. Yeah, always did. But very specifically, I know exactly the thing that she was referring to, and everything like that, and everything. When wrongfully accused of a very stupid thing. Not that I'm still salty. Of the wrong Jedi. Clone Wars episode, and how that went down. So yeah. So that little callback of her doing that, say like, I'm not gonna. Yeah, Anakin was always there for me no matter what, and I'm there for you. So, boom. That was my two things of that, like a nice little callback. Carry on, Sarah. I'm evil.
No, you're good. No, I'm really glad that you mentioned I'm sorry, what's his name? The droid? Huyang. Okay, that he was saying those heartwarming moments to Ahsoka or Ezra, it's time to leave the past, there's brighter futures ahead, being a Jedi is more than just wielding the lightsaber, it's feeling the living force and everything. It was like nice homages, not just kind of the new generation of how Star Wars is, but like where we grew up with the prequels, how we were kind of introduced to those things, like how Qui-Gon was introducing the Force to Anakin and everything, and Yoda kind of explaining Luke how to train and become one with the Force, like everyone thinks it's so easy to be a Jedi when in reality it's really not. And we see that a lot with Ahsoka, how much she's struggling to kind of find her place and balance of what it means to be a Jedi, while also trying to come to terms with her past with Anakin, because she's still not over that. She never got that closure that she needed because Order 66 happened, and it was just
episode 5.
Things went down.
Well, I can't remember what episode it was in, but like that's like one of my favorite lines from this whole show is like she was like, even sometimes the right choices have like bad consequences. Like you can like still lose even if you pick the right choice. And I was like, man, like that's like the realest of the real quote right there. Like she's spitting some knowledge right there. But
not to veer, but I wanted to address Stanley's.
Oh yeah, no, go for it.
Quick.
Yeah, this one.
With, maybe their stashed dead Inquisitor. The Jedi lightsabers, yes, but an Inquisitor lightsaber, if the crystal is blood, it remains blood. Kind of like how you would go back to Korriban and raid like an ancient temple. You'd still see their saber be red. That's what Tulak Hordes and Revans and all that.
Or I guess it could be white if they like purified it, but it wouldn't be like it would. Yeah, but it wouldn't have, like you were saying, it wouldn't have color to it. But sure. Yeah, but man, I want to take a second, just as I love 3D printing and like armor and stuff like that, to appreciate the freaking night pilots with I love this helmet like in general, but like the fact that it has the gold in it, like man, I don't know what it is. Like I'm just like, oh man, I need to print I guess they're called night pilots because the other ones are called night troopers, so these are pilots. They could be called night pilot. I don't know what it'd be, but like the gold little, and I like how subtle it is, but it's just like you can see it so well. It's so cool.
And from what I know, at least those facial markings I think are new as well. The red stripes.
I was gonna say it reminds me of Inferno Squad.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they have. I think they're going like inwards, right, towards the eyes, but these ones are like on the outside.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't it's been a while since I've seen the Force Awakens, but don't the pilots in Force Awakens when they're on Jakku? Don't those pilots have it?
They have marks, but they're also they're a bit different.
Oh, okay.
They're thinner and up here too, right?
Yeah.
They go down to the eye.
I mean, my favorite colors are red and black, so you guys, I'm about it.
That's freaking sick.
Yeah, but I love I'm like, oh man, I was like, I gotta find a really good trooper pilot helmet, because like the Empire insignias with the gold and the red, like I'm like, oh, I need that helmet. I
I did not notice that gold.
Yeah, well, I mean, literally, I had to stop this screenshot like 6 times because it's literally on the screen for like 2 seconds. It's like crazy. Not, but like, yeah, it looks so nice. I don't know why I like the gold so much in it, but like the gold troopers too, like they have the gold inlays in their like I definitely want to. I'm excited to also see. I've already seen people cosplay some of the undead troopers already. Like I'm like, bro, it's been like 2 weeks. How do you already have a whole outfit ready to go and play? Like people are freaking crazy, man.
Or better yet, more impressive is they'll take Captain Enoch's face, and instead of the Spartan gladiator inlay, they'll do like Dwayne The Rock Johnson's smug.
Yeah, Galactic Army was cracking me up. He did like Charlie the Train or whatever, or Choo Choo Train or whatever.
Yeah, Thomas.
Oh, I was like, what the
Thomas. Yeah, there was.
Charlie the Choo Choo.
Hell! Oh, nice, man.
Nice.
Nice.
Dude. Very cool.
It's not actually mine, but I just thought.
Dude, that helmet's so clean. I like that helmet a lot.
It's freaking like in person. When you see it in person too, it's like one of those things where you're like, oh gosh.
He said it's not actually his. That means he took it off a dead and burial.
He pulled an Ezra.
I don't need any more anyways. It's okay.
I just take
I only have a dozen more.
I will borrow this indefinitely.
Oh, this Stanley said he thinks the elite TIE pilots have the red markings. So I guess that would make sense.
Yeah, it depends on your rank, because when I was looking into doing the first order TIE, I want to do the red markings, and that's like commander or something. Like it's like a little higher.
Dude, and then we get the them. How cool is it to see? I mean, I can never get over the firepower that those Star Destroyers have. Like we've seen them use like orbital bombardment like so many times in like so many different shows and live action, all that stuff. But to see that actually like, and to see them make it through that too, like I was like, holy crap! But
I understand why Malgus died.
And
right?
I understand now.
And right after that, I forget who was mentioning it or saying something to it, but what Thrawn does right after, I'm assuming you guys like picked up on that. No? Does anyone remember what happened right after? Well, right after they get through the door and stuff, obviously he's like angry, but he turns and he's like, make sure that the commander of like that section gets like a citation.
Oh, did he really? I didn't. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Which someone was mentioning that before and was like saying, oh yeah, usually he blames like the teacher. That's why he didn't like Palpatine. So right after that, I was like, oh shoot, like he literally did the thing.
You can see
he was
him
big mad, bro.
Yeah,
he was big mad. Like,
not even just mad, but you can see like throughout the episode as they get closer and closer, him start to kind of back off and get like a little bit worried. Like I think he even says, "I need to buy just a little bit more time."
Yeah, because he literally said, like prior to this, like when he was talking to Morgan Elsbeth, I finally remember her name. So the master.
Morgan Elsbeth.
It was that I have been, in the clutches of a Jedi and lost before, as many Imperials have. Never again. Now, fast forward to this, like a couple things later, he's like, crap. And, it doesn't do like, but you can see it on his face. He's like, why?
He said, damn you, Anakin.
Oh, thank you for posting that meme. But yes, yeah, I love this image and how like his eyes, I don't know if they did this intentionally, but like they get like they're smoking red a little bit more, just like.
Well, I feel like we don't see. I feel like it's pretty like composed, like for like most of his shot. Like he doesn't really show like a whole bunch of emotion. It's mostly like with his like tone of how he says things, but you can like visually see him like he wants to freaking beat the crap out of somebody here. You see in his face. He's like, oh, it's like no.
Yeah. Well, that alien of emotion kind of brings that intimidating presence to his character as well, because even the way he talks is kind of like monotone. Like he only goes up and down. You'll never hear the dude like yell or anything like that.
And then we get this is the scene I was talking about with the trooper. Like to see the 3 different sabers. Like I just feel like we don't see it. It's usually like in like. For instance, I guess we see it a little bit in, I guess when they drop down and Attack of the Clones and like they're in the arena battling, we get to see a whole bunch of different lightsabers. But I feel like we don't get to see like so much variation because like white purifying crystals hasn't really been like a thing, So, but I also like we'll talk about the Sabine thing a little later, but I will say for everything that Dave has like done with Sabine, I do like that. Like, I think she's like like he's directed her like purposely to be like super clumsy, because like even in this, when they're fighting, Ahsoka notices that she's struggling with the saber and says, "Hey, switch to your blasters," because she's not equipped and trained to handle this sort of stuff with a saber. So for as much rope as he does kind of give her, I like these little there's like been little nods throughout the series where like she's like clearly struggled quite a bit with like the new powers.
It's different. It's also back and forth too, because when you see her get jumped by those Hexian brood looking, orange red helmet guys.
Yeah.
She started off using her blaster, but only then when she sliced the dude's gaffy stick, he was like, "Oh," and then he ran away. She started doing better with her lightsaber when she brought it out then, but then like you're saying, like vice versa, switch to your blaster. So I think it's like a little bit back and forth.
Well, to me, it kind of reminds me of like a Cal Kestis or a Kyle Katarn, where they use the blaster saber combo. Like I like that. I think that's really cool because like it's not traditional, right? Like Jedi's, like it's uncivilized to use a blaster, so it's but I think it's cool as hell. Like that's one of the stances I used when I was playing Jedi Survivor is the saber and blaster, or I use the double blade because Maul's OG and I gotta rep Maul.
Good man.
But
it's like that TikTok trend I've been seeing. It's just a bunch of the lightsaber users, and it just goes and shows Cal just with a pistol.
Yeah, it's like I do things my own way.
Oh, like that's sick.
But yeah, man, this was so cool. And then like the end with her, like
that
kind of
shot.
doing the pose with this, like
that poor stormtrooper or whatever he was just like, "All right, I got you, we're good." And the way that they do like a line and pull, and the way like comes in for that.
That's a clothesline, man.
Just dead.
Ezra using the force and her just slicing. Yeah.
I was in the watch party and that happened, and I actually like audibly out loud went, "Oh!"
Just put in oh god, this reference. Put like a Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross. Oh my God, she killed him! That.
Yeah, there's been some good moments of like seeing teamwork.
Oh
between,
yeah,
like, all these characters in each episode, which is really cool to see.
Something about Max when you were saying like this variation team all stand next to each other. I don't know about it, but like when they were in a line like that and they got troops in front of them, it reminded me of like the Phantom Menace, where Obi-Wan's working with Qui-Gon, like Master, destroy us. They're like it's like Jedi teamwork to a T. I like seeing it.
Oh yeah, it was super cool. I hope we get to see more of it in the because Ahsoka and Sabine are making it off the planet. Like it's not like they're gonna make it off somehow. Like like Star Wars are gonna come back. Like something's gonna happen.
I predicted it almost. I was gonna say, what if they get to the planet and they look back and then they see Thrawn leaving?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much though. Pretty much. I mean, you're not wrong. But then, dude, I can't believe we got
the
undead Night Sister magic. Well, I love too that like it really plays on that Death Trooper novel. I think it's called Death Trooper. I'm pretty sure. I really liked that novel. I haven't finished it, but I'm about halfway through it, and it's so freaking good. But I honestly kind of like this version better than it being a virus. I don't know. There's something cool about it kind of being like Night Sister magic and like reanimating. But I wanted to ask you guys, do you guys think that these guys were dead beforehand?
Yeah.
Or do you think
they 100%? They
Yeah.
100% were, because when Sabine shoots the one's helmet off, he's already like rotted underneath.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But that's different though, because the Death Troopers were originally rumored to be undead troopers that were brought back to life. So that's why I was asking about these, because when Thrawn, I think Morgan was saying like, "Oh, we've assembled troopers that are like willing to make the sacrifice." Like, wouldn't they not need to make the sacrifice if they were already undead?
Yeah. My parents would watch this, and they're not going to know the rumor of the Death Troopers being potentially undead already.
Right.
They're just going to see that, okay, these guys are back to life, and now under his mask he's a zombie, so I can safely assume that they all look like that underneath. He's got his teeth trying to bite her.
I know.
I thought it was cool, really cool homage to I-71A, Project Blackwing.
Project Blackwing. I was just gonna say, as an EU like fanatic, that was a really cool.
That's sick, dude. Like that's
dude,
super cool. I was like thinking about how Modern Warfare is coming out and they're adding zombies. I was like, when Battlefront 3 comes out, they need to have like a zombies mode.
Bro, please! I've been wanting that so much because I've always wanted to.
Can you imagine that for downloadable content for this?
Bro, you guys know, I do 3D printing, but like my real passion is game design, and I've always wanted to make like a zombie wave-based game of like the Death Trooper thing, the game where you could play as like a Jedi, or like you could play as like a royal, because I really like the Royal Guards and I like the giant vibro staff that they have. So I thought it'd be cool to like have them go in like on a top secret mission to like a base that was overrun by like the zombies and have to like do like a wave-based kind of like COD style.
Well, it'd be so nice to see too, because like I guess only references like some of the Halo fan films, like when you watch them, like, it gets really real, and you're like, damn, like I definitely wouldn't want to be playing in that, like being in that universe in real life. No. I like seeing, like, there's that one short that it is of Project Blackwing, whatever, and it's just of the Star Destroyer floating in space, and then the comms are like, can you pick up whatever, we're gonna board the ship or whatever, and just I'm like, when I first saw that, I was like, that would be horrifying.
Yeah,
it's like a Left 4 Dead, like you hear the horde, like,
what's that sound?
It's nice to get that out of something that's typically not scary, and then it's like gets really real. So that was cool to see this, especially how they don't have their guns. Some of them, like they're actually just zombies.
And some of them are like literally the ones like that guy, like the one in the very front, like he's like clearly like aiming down the sights, but some of them are literally just like firing from the hip. You know, like they're not doing anything.
Well, I think it's muscle. I think it's muscle memory too.
There you go.
You know,
I didn't think their accuracy could get worse.
Personally, right?
100%.
Not inaccurate.
Personally, my type of favorite zombies, are typically the ones that are gonna full on sprint, because that's like the rabies more realistic version. So like Left 4 Dead, World War Z, higher rounds of Call of Duty zombies, that kind of stuff. That's why I really didn't get into The Walking Dead a whole lot, because I'm just like, dude, just walk up to start hacking. All you need is Michonne's katana. That's it. But you can't knock how cool it was this day. I mean, as an EU fan, I mean, like you said, Mike, Project Blackwing. There's the Night Sister undead zombies already that exist. There's the Nyal, that like gray goo, the vampire species that like brainwash you. There's a ton of different like zombification processes in Star Wars, which is cool. But seeing this, like actually like the smoke comes at the floor, and then you see the dude's hand go. Like he twitches, like, oh man.
What was that worm or whatever that was in that Clone Wars episode?
Oh, that was the Geonosian hive mind.
Yeah. That is kind of like almost like the flood from like Halo or something like that.
Only when they killed the mother.
Yeah, like super trippy. But yeah, then we get the dude. I want to cosplay one of these so bad now with the gold. Like I don't know what it is about adding the gold and the red, but I'm just like. I've never wanted to, like, I like the helmets obviously, but I've never really wanted to cosplay one of these guys. And as soon as I see this, I'm like, yep, it's like I gotta cosplay one now. Like that's, dude, they look so freaking clean. Honestly, it'd be cool to do one with like the helmet cracked and have like a zombie face underneath.
Yeah, I was like, my first thought was when we're in Japan, someone's gonna have that one with like the broken face.
100%, right? Because what, like we're like a year and a half away or something like that. So somebody will have it by then for sure. I definitely got to get a picture. Hopefully, I can have a Maul done by then, so we can do Darth Maul and Undead Trooper. That'd be cool. Let's see what else we got.
Well, also like you were saying too. Now that we're talking about the Death Troopers, is how originally like they were designed or rumored to be like undead. So to see that come back, I was like, yes.
I'm about to pull up the zombification.
No, you're good. While you're doing that, I can't. JT, was it in our thing when we were talking about this? Like a little gag, like, man, there's no like they'll do well for a sacrifice. There's no way they could have known about it. Like, not look on the paperwork. Like, okay, we get what's this thing X'd out here that's too small for you to see? Don't worry about it. You're good. You sure? Because I get a little weird feeling about this. You got 401k, you got a good dental plan. It's nothing. You hypothetically, you don't even need to be worried about it. Does this say afterlife? Nah, you're good. Okay.
Yeah, Charlie and I were egging on with the poor soul of the Death Troopers, the Night Troopers that were in the hangar. That Morgan asks Thrawn, "Well, do they know they have to stay back?"
That was it. That was it.
Like, yes.
That was it.
And you didn't read the fine print on the contract. It says we'll use your body to reanimate after death. You didn't see that.
That's right.
Didn't read the sign.
Oh yeah, and that's right, Charlie. You said, well, they got 401k and their dental's covered.
Good.
And I said, I don't know about their dental. I mean, look at this.
Yeah.
Well, at first, and then this type of stuff comes in. I mean, it just happens. I mean, I don't know.
For the Empire, right? For the Empire. But
poor
but
guy.
then we get the fight between
God, yes.
Ahsoka and Morgan. And like, I haven't seen this fight, like this fast of fighting, literally since like the prequels, dude. This gave me so Phantom Menace vibes. And hey, what's going on, Strike? Appreciate you popping by, my dude. What's going on?
Hello, good sir.
But dude, this fight scene, like, I was like, holy crap! Like, kind of like what Mike was saying, like, you gotta kind of slow it down almost because they're just like, do, you know.
I love the shot that you stopped this on too as well.
Oh yeah, dude. Like you see the flames with the white, like, dude, it's so clean.
God, the footwork of like everything about this. Again, this is gonna be my little thing. Like, again, Bruce Lee's goddaughter. She knows how to do this and everything. Rosario's amazing as well, and she does Filipino, martial arts and stuff like that. So she's really good, like, with this. And I loved how when they were doing this, it blends into it. Like, you got the Akira Kurosawa, Ahsoka, and everything like that. You got that type of martial arts as well for Dan Inosanto's kid, and they're going back and forth, but really fast, but keeping up with each other and everything like that, and trying to do like very small things that I noticed about this. I'm like, oh my god! So this is a definitely high point. One of my favorite moments right here.
This frame, like this picture you got to, reminds me of that promo ad they did for Revenge of the Sith where Obi-Wan and Anakin's lightsabers are making a flash.
Yeah. We got
it's nice to see a fight like this too, because the way it was shot was like pretty backed out. I mean, depends on the director as well, but a lot of the fights, even for this, like this is kind of typical to see in a lightsaber fight. Like it's like somewhat close. But for a lot of that fight, like it was like backed out. You could see a lot of space and stuff, and it makes all that better. Like that top-down shot was freaking sick.
Oh yeah, I like how the troopers in the back are just like fight.
Yeah, right. That one guy's not even like.
Morgan's like, shoot her, you idiots!
But
no, it was awesome seeing this fight, because that was one thing throughout the show when I was watching. I was like, the lightsaber fights are kind of slow. Like, when are we going to get some fast-paced action stuff? And then this happened. I was like, whoa, okay, like Phantom Menace, here we go, like all over again.
Yeah.
So, and then like,
it was awesome.
Dude, the I'm trying to see if I can. Where's the? I didn't even realize this at first, that she grabs her blade and stabs her. Not only with the lightsaber, but with her own blade.
She breaks. Her lightsaber breaks too.
Yeah,
I
actually got that. Yeah.
No, that was crazy, dude.
Was that her Shoto or her main one?
Yeah,
the Shoto.
I think that was her. Yeah, the Shoto.
It was the Shoto. I'm
sure
she
got copies.
Yeah, exactly. Good.
Well, it works out pretty perfect because she just got it back pretty much by taking Talzin's sword.
Yeah, she's like
the same size and stuff. It's a smaller.
Like, this is yours. This is mine. Yeah, but this. Wait, let me see. No, not this one. Where's the? Where's that other scene? I mean, I think I actually. Yeah, this one. Yeah. Oh, I guess I had it in the back. Yeah, this one, like.
I love
such a crazy like finisher. Like she like literally disarms her and then stabs her.
I love how they took the time of the detail to put in the green glow and the regular glow, and just this was so. I love it. It's so well done. I'll nerd out over stuff like this.
Do you guys think they're gonna try to like resurrect her somehow? Because they're bringing back
unless
all
they have Night Sister Mojo. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Nah, dude, that tower collapsed. You would have trouble even finding her body.
Well, I mean, like more so is like, what if they, like not her bringing back her in like her actual body, but like what if they put like her, like they channeled her spirit and put her spirit into like another like body, because they were bringing coffins, dude. You saw the shot at the end how they had like literally like a warehouse almost full of those coffins. Like they could totally do something with her in the, which maybe not, but like I think that would be very interesting to see, because like my hopes is, you know, because like at the end they're going to Dathomir, we get that shot of Dathomir and stuff like that. Like I hope they bring everybody back, bro. Bring back Asajj, bring back Maul, bring back Savage, like bring back everybody and just make them undead, you know, just for like an episode or something like that. I want to see Luke go, and that's the one thing I did think of too. I'm kind of bouncing all over the place now, but like, dude, so George's rumored sequel trilogy was Luke facing off against Darth Maul and Talon, right? Like, what if we got like some pseudo version of that where it's like Darth Maul isn't the big bad anymore, but what if they brought back Darth Maul somehow? I don't know, like, because he's probably buried on Tatooine, right? Like that would be the guess, because he died there. Like Obi-Wan probably buried him.
Yeah, Obi-Wan cremated him as well.
Oh, did he? Okay.
From a certain point of view, the novel from not the most recent one, but like the one from way back, they talk about when he was talking to Qui-Gon at one point, and he was narrating that. If I find, I'll send it. But it's he cremated him. He felt remorse even back then when he was becoming like old Ben Kenobi and everything like that, and just gave him a warrior send off, which I thought was pretty cool. Pretty nice.
It's cool. I don't know how they would bring him back now then, because they basically cream. But like I said, you could still put like your spirit. Like we've seen that where they've taken spirits and put them into other, you know, other things. I don't know. I don't know how you do it, Dave, but just bring back Maul. That's all I want.
As much, you know, dude, we're with you. Maul's my favorite character, but as much as I'd want to see him again, I think Twin Suns is a good end for him.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. No, like that's what I say, but like I think they could do it in a way where it's like it's almost not even Maul. It's like basically like, you know how they're bringing back like the zombie troopers where they're like kind of he could just be like a soldier almost. So where it's not really him, but it is him, sort of pseudo kind of. I just want to see Maul face off against Luke. That's all I want. That's all
really
I want.
like Maul. That's all.
But no, I mean, regardless whether we get that or whether we don't get that, I think it's cool that they're definitely doing something with the undead on Dathomir. Like they're I don't know whether they're like trying to repopulate like the Night Sisterhood or like what they're trying to do, like what, because I think that's what Thrawn's deal is, and why the Night Sisters and Thrawn are so interconnected is because like Thrawn's like, hey, I'll bring you back, I'll take you to Dathomir and be like, hey, there you go, homie. There's your home planet.
I think it's pretty spoon-fed to see that like these coffins and caskets of Thrawn's like startup army is leading directly into like the First Order, and like he's gonna get taken out in some way, but the Empire is still gonna remain in somehow, you know, because it is around that time.
Dude, this is like that's a lot.
It's a lot of troops.
We're gonna have to go back as Cal to Dathomir and like kill all.
Oh man, how's Merrin gonna feel about this?
Merrin, where you at?
I was about to say, how's Merrin gonna feel about this Night Sister reemergence?
I know, dude. That'd be cool. Honestly, if we saw her, like, we don't know obviously if she's still alive at this point, and you know, but it would be if she was, it would kind of be cool to get a cameo of that. You know,
we still don't even know the Night Sisters in the caskets.
Yeah, true. We don't know who. We don't know what. I would guess that it would be undead Night Sisters and maybe undead troopers that had like fallen under Thrawn's.
I think more so for me, the way I see it, would be more realistic if they were just troopers, like dead bodies, and then they were using like that. So when they get back to wherever they got to be, they'll just reanimate them all. You know, because that Chimera got messed up pretty bad with a lot of crew on board.
Just a little.
Or it's like the Yuzon Vong, and that's like how they store them so they don't take over everything, and then they unlock everything.
New can of worms.
It's basically a tomb for the Yuzon Vong, and then they're gonna unleash the Yuzon Vong out into the thing. But it was cool to see. I'm gonna go back one. It was cool to see Dathomir.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
Live action Dathomir.
So many people were like, it's not Dathomir. Like, pretty sure that's Dathomir.
Yeah. I mean, it looks pretty much like it's
that's Dathomir. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I'm not a theological expert, but I'm pretty sure 99,000% sure that's Dathomir.
Well, we've seen what Dathomir looks like, the planet.
Yeah, so it is like that. It is.
In the Clone Wars, you see it as this like always nighttime, like smoke in the air, really dark place. But in Fallen Order, you see like a daytime version of it where there's still a little bit of smoke in the air, but it feels like very dry. There's still that red haze off in the distance. But yeah, even just seeing the planet Dathomir from like that shot was enough for me.
Dude, hell yeah. I love it.
The Stanleys does bring up a good point though. Like Dave has like time and time again, because we said like Maul was cremated from the certain point of view novels, and Dave doesn't give a crap about any of that stuff. Like he doesn't. I mean, granted, the certain point of view I think is a little different because it's not like a comic book or like a novel. Like a certain point of view is like, or maybe it is like what would you categorize the certain point of view as?
You gotta remember that even Dave said, if it's not in a show or a movie, it's not considered canon. Even if the story fits 100% perfect with the timelines, with the characters, the happenstances of everything, if it's not in a show or a movie, it's not considered canon. But I think he is the best candidate, along with Sam Witwer.
I was about to say
of throwing out ideas that are pre-existing EU stories that they can implement elements from those without disrespecting those, changing it. Because a lot of these, like, take Heir to the Empire, for example, that's a decent trilogy, that's my headcanon after Return of the Jedi. Luke takes on Thrawn, that goes into Yuzang Vong, New Jedi Order, all that stuff. Don't touch it, right? It's so good, I don't want to see it in live action almost because it's in its own place, Like you see the 2003 Clone Wars as well, Dirge and stuff. Dude, if Dirge was in the movies, game over. Y'all lose. It regenerates. So a lot of like that media is tied to where it should be, but I appreciate that someone as high respected and knowledgeable as him is able to take elements from that without 100% like disrespecting the character, because when they introduced Thrawn and Ahsoka, man, that is cut right out of Rebels. That was perfect.
But what I'm hearing is hashtag bring back Maul. That's what I'm hearing.
Could hear that. Like I said, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but they'd have to do it in the right way.
Yeah, for sure. They can't just be like somehow Maul returned. Like they can't be like that. But
Jesus,
like
no.
they'd have to do something. But I think it'd be cool to like an undead knight brother that they.
I was about to say there's a way you could do that where, again, we were talking about this. Imagine they still get that in episode 5. We're like live action Clone Wars for the love of Tom Cruise. An episode. I mean, Anakin was known to have a Maul training app on his stuff.
Yeah,
that'd be one.
You know what I just thought about from like
Proxy.
Charlie, you talking about that?
Thank you. David Collins, love it.
In Rebels,
yeah,
with that Maul and Ezra episode, he has literally a shrine of all of his past history. With everything, and that stuff's still there as far as we know. So maybe they could do something with that, like bring him back from like all his past, like how they like the Jedi can have like the Force like psychometry, and like since like maybe the Night Sisters have something similar where they can like release the spirit from like what I mean, they'd have to Star Wars-fy it, of course. Like I'm just like talking out of my butt right now, but like they could definitely do something with a lot of that stuff if it was still there, So you heard it here first, folks. Hashtag bring back Maul. Let's go.
Maybe Tron. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it would be really cool. So now I want to talk, and I want to get your guys' opinions on it, because this was a pretty big, I feel like, controversy through the Star Wars community. For some, it broke the show and they didn't like it. For others, they were okay with it. What did you guys think about Sabine using the Force and grabbing the saber with the Force?
Who wants to go first for this one?
Yeah, whatever. Like, there's whatever you guys want to do.
Okay.
I don't have any problems with it. I'm not like for it either. I think it was kind of like, of course it was going to happen. Like, it was one of those things where you're like, I could have called that, so I would have preferred if it didn't. But I don't think it's like that big of a deal. I think we come to most people watch Star Wars to see people use the Force and lightsabers. So it's kind of like, all right, if it makes it cool, it makes it cool. The only thing that I'd say, I guess the reason that I really liked it, and I think it was, again, part, like good homage flashback to when Luke used it in Empire Strikes Back with the Wampa. Like I think that was a bit similar. I was like, I thought of that. But then the only part I didn't like about it really was Ezra is gonna go and jump off this cliff, and she's like, "Don't worry, I got it." And I'm like, "No, like you don't got it. You've used the Force once ever. Like, why would you ever even think about trying that?" Yeah. And so that was kind of like iffy. I'm like, I know if I just use the Force, maybe it's like, it's just like everyone says, it's a feeling. Like you know if you know, but. Yeah, I'm like whatever about it. We'll see where it goes. If she just has the Force somewhat and can use it a little bit, then I'm fine with it. If next season she's like pulling down Star Destroyers, then I'll be like, this sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I'm right
I don't
there
want her
with.
to be crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm right there with Mike. I wasn't really attached to Sabine as a character when watching Rebels, anyways. She falls in that category. I was there for like Kanan and like the Vader scenes and all that.
Right.
I definitely don't think it's as big of a deal as people are making it out to be, but I'm also not for it. I do believe if they were going to have her use the Force at all, that she would have some training that we were able to see besides just, hey, let me boost you up this Star Destroyer. Like, yeah, like no way. And like Mike was saying with Empire Strikes Back when he was in the Wampa Cave, you got to remember, I mean, Luke is also the son of the Chosen One, so he has more of a higher chance of randomly just activating one of those moves on a whim than someone who's been a Mandalorian forever, Yeah. And that was kind of whack because we've always known as Sabine as a Mandalorian, and she's very cool doing her like blaster moves and blocking bolts with her.
She's awesome,
gauntlets. Dude. I don't need to see her with a lightsaber. I really don't. If they were gonna do a lightsaber blaster character, just bring in Kyle Katarn. Bring in one that is already known for doing something like that. That's already respected. That's not gonna piss anyone off. That's I don't know. No. I was kind of indifferent because I wasn't attached to the character, but that was a little bit annoying, but it definitely didn't ruin the show for me, or it was just a little minor inconvenience.
I was a little flipped on that. See, like I would have preferred her to like have this. I think the saber blaster combo is cool, but I would have preferred her to not have the Force, or if she did use the Force, like use it in like the movies. To me, it didn't really make sense. For instance, take the Kenobi show. Kenobi studies the Force for the majority of his life, right? Like does all that, and he kind of cuts himself off from the Force for a few years. And then when he tries to open himself back up to it, he's like, wait, is it a key card or like a rock or something like that? He's trying to move, and he's like massive struggling to like even like remotely get it to like, and that's what I'm saying is like the dude studied for
his whole life
and was struggling to move it.
So you're telling me this person who hasn't trained at all is just able to be like, door open when orbital bombardment. I'm getting choked out. Lightsaber grab. It's a little
to play on. Because I know our buddy Strike. He had a problem with. Like I agree with him. Is like she was already an OP character. Like she's like a super genius because she built that machine for the Empire that was like didn't it like melt Beskar or like disintegrate Beskar, and I can't remember that Rebels episode, but it was something that like was used against the Mandos. She's an awesome artist, which doesn't really prove for like combat and stuff like that, but like that's still a skill, and then she's really good with her blasters and like explosions and all that stuff. Like I don't know, I feel like giving her a lightsaber and the Force, I'm like, bro, she's goated now. Like she was already
and a
awesome.
Jetpack.
Yeah, and a jetpack too. So that's what I'm saying. Like I think for me it was just like I said this in my review. To me, it didn't feel like I'm not opposed to her using the Force. To me, it just didn't feel like it was earned yet. Like I would have liked to see her struggle for at least like another season. Like because we're going to definitely probably get an Ahsoka season 2 or the movie if they decide just to jump straight to the movie. Like I would have liked to see her, if they do give us another season, her struggle with it throughout the next season. Maybe she like shakes, like kind of like she does with the saber. Like the saber kind of shakes a little bit. Maybe she gets that, and then in the movie you get something similar to this, and then she uses it. To me, that would have felt more earned. But sorry, I just had to give my 2 cents in there. But Charlie, Sarah, what did you guys think of it?
Yeah, it's hard, like trying to mix things like this when it comes to Star Wars content, because we see the Jedi a specific way, you know, like we don't see like just random people wielding the Force. It's kind of something you either have it, you're Force sensitive, and that's just kind of it. Like, for example, like, you know, like for Cal, he was a Padawan at age 12, cut it off for a few years, and then used it again to save his friends. And then with Kenobi, it was the same thing. Had it for his whole life and cut himself off, same thing. So it makes sense for them trying to find ways to tap back into the Force and regain some new abilities. Whereas for Sabine, it's not really hinted at. Even like looking back on Rebels, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, if there are any hints in any of the episodes, but I can't remember any episode off the top of my head, just besides when she wielded the dark saber and kind of used it around, wielded it. Yeah. But in Ahsoka, how it was portrayed, like my few gripes I had, my first major gripe, I mean, not that this one has to do with her using the Force, but it was when she first meets Shin Hati and they're fighting, and then she gets stabbed, and I'm like, oh shoot, like, yeah. Okay. And then she kind of lives, and I'm like, bruh, like, okay, I get, okay, before the internet attacks me for this, I just want to say, you know, like, I get it, you know, people say, oh, well, technology's more advanced, she didn't get the Qui-Gon stab, but it's like, to me, that kind of takes the mystique of the lightsaber away. You know, like, to me, it's like, okay, the weapon's useless then. Like, anyone can get stabbed and survive, then the second sister can survive, then the ninth sister, you know? Like,
I would just like to add to that really quick, because The Force Unleashed is, like, one of my favorite, you know, IPs of Star Wars, the whole story. But even as a kid, when he's like, the spies followed you here, and Starkiller gets, or Galen Merrick gets stabbed, I'm like,
thrown out a window.
Wait, what? Qui-Gon, he got stabbed. And then you see it in Fallen Order with Cal. And then you see it with Reva twice with Vader. I'm like, and now all of a sudden when Sabine gets stabbed, everyone's talking about on the internet. I'm like, think of all the people that got unjustly like stabbed and like are just somehow alive, you know, after fight. And they're trying to, like you said, Sarah, like break it down, like, oh, it was not his spine, therefore he would just shut up. Shut up. It's a freaking plasma sword, man. If you go anywhere near the sun, you would cook up. So it's 100%. You're on the side of the internet, Sarah. You're on the side. So
no, absolutely. And it's like, listen, like, okay, I get it. If it's like a flesh wound, like Cal in Fallen Order got a flesh wound, okay? That's my defense. And same thing with Survivor. It was the flesh wound. Yeah. He didn't fully get stabbed, and he's like, oh, I'm out. Like, no. Yeah. Sabine got full on, like, she was done. And I thought, okay, well, there she goes. But no, she survived. Anyway, sorry, getting rambly here, but getting into that scene now where she does use the Force, it just kind of seemed like a cliche moment, like, okay, yeah, we were expecting that. Like, it would have felt more earned. Like, everyone has pretty much said that if we saw that training she had with Ahsoka and she really tapped into the Force, because throughout the show, like, we're seeing her struggle, like, even just something as simple as moving a cup. And even Shin, she's like, oh, you have no power here. And then Sabine just blasts her with her rockets. And it's like, yeah, that's a total Mandalorian move right there. Like, they should have just kept her as a Mandalorian. Like, it would have been one thing if, like, she had no other option but to use the saber to save Ezra or something. Like, what if he lost his saber and he's about to die or something, or he's about to get pushed off a cliff and she just, you know, helps him. Like, that would have made more sense. But to fully give her, like, Force abilities and everything, it just seems a little too overpowered. And I feel like you need to have a balance when it comes to these characters. You can't give someone too much of power, because it just takes the mystique out of Star Wars. And, you know, it kind of seems like more of a video game than the universe of the movies and the shows as a whole. You know, there kind of needs to be some boundary at some point and some order. But I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean, it didn't kill like the entire show for me, but you know, I would have preferred if they didn't go with that route. But we'll see what happens next.
Yeah, I'm kind of with what the Stanleys is saying here. Like, I really hope that they don't like. I kind of hope that she only uses the Force as kind of like a last resort, like kind of going forward, because like I think she has so many other cool traits. Like, if she can use the Force, like Ahsoka or like Ezra or Kanan, Luke, like if she can have the power any other like them, like I just think like I'm like, dude, what? Like she has everything. Like she literally has everything.
Yeah.
Like what the hell? And like it just to me, like what you were saying with Rebels, like why didn't Kanan sense it when he was training with her? Like it's clearly like they make a really big point to say like she's like cut off like from using the Force, and like she has like even in this show like Hu Yang is like she has like the worst aptitude I've ever seen out of any Jedi I've ever seen. If you have the worst aptitude out of any Jedi he's ever seen, the dude's been around for like hundreds of thousands of years. You're probably not going to be able to use the Force, or like barely be able to use it if you do. And I don't know. It's just like I hope they kind of mitigate that going forward. Like I said, it doesn't ruin the show for me. I think there's so much greatness in the show that like this is like I kind of tie this into like this what we were talking about with a saber stab. Like, yeah, is it great? No, it's not. But like there's so much greatness in the show, like I can't just let that one little part ruin it for me.
I'm just tired of saber fights happening and either someone runs away or they just get wounded, and then that's how the fight ends. I want if you're in a fight with a lightsaber, dude, someone's dying.
Or at least like getting a hand chopped off or something.
Or a limb. Like a full limb.
like these freaking death troopers, man. Like holy crap. Freaking LEDs. Somebody needs to make that. Like somebody needs to make the Death Trooper like in the mouth going off and do like a wall hanging mount where the sabers through it. And it's like a LED, like just like a wall mount.
I love how it made the visor more green too, and the green side.
Yeah, and he's like he's got his. But dude, they're doing a little bit of limb chopping off. We do get a decapitation.
Yeah.
So like,
when you see him run up the staircase too, I'm like, well, you guys got lightsabers. Just start chopping them down. But then again, they're also starting to move after they've lost limbs and stuff. I'm like, even come at them like crawlers.
It's like the Magna Guards for Grievous when like they chop off the head and they still like start swinging and doing all that stuff. I also love the glance. Like I can start to feel a rift between the Night Sisters and Thrawn when Thrawn's like, "Oh, Morgan's dead. Destroy the tower," and they like that little subtle like, "Bitch, what? Like, what did you just say? Like, you're gonna destroy our temple? Like, the fuck? Like, what the hell?" And you can kind of feel that I feel like the alliance between the Night Sisters and Thrawn might not last as long as he wants to, because he's just for the Empire and whatever gets him. Like that was personal. Like he didn't have to destroy that tower. Like they were already getting left, right? Like they weren't gonna make it. Like he didn't have to, and he was just like, you know what? I'm tired of these freaking Jedi, these freaking towers. I've been trapped here for 10 years. Blow it up. Like,
all goes back to PTSD with Space Wells, man. It's never the same.
But dude, what did you guys think of the scene with Shin Hati with her? I definitely thought she was going Anakin Tusken Raider.
Okay.
That is exactly what I was.
I was just like, yo, I was like, she's mad. I was like, she's gonna get these guys, and they didn't even do anything wrong, bro. Just, But I thought this was like an interesting. Do you think this is gonna? I don't think they're gonna have the end. This is gonna be the end of her story. But to me, I felt like this was kind of like weird. Like she just wants to be the leader of those like that Raider group. I was like, I don't know. Maybe she'll join up back with Baylan again, but I was like,
she just lost her master. Yeah, her master went off on a different path, so she's just kind of dropped. Like, okay, I have no, path ahead. I guess my leader, is free. So what am I gonna do? Go to the only people that I know were aligned with at the time.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little sad. I was hoping she would have kind of gone with Thrawn. I would have liked to see her like do some really cool things against the Rebel Alliance, or not Rebel Alliance, the New Republic. I feel like because that first scene that we got with Baylan and her and the New Republic cruiser, like that was super cool. I was hoping that we would get some more of that. Maybe she would be like a pseudo Jorah Sabayoth or something like that, where with the Force and all that stuff. I thought that would be kind of cool, but I guess we'll see it, because I don't think that they're just gonna like Balin and her, I feel like kind of got the short end of the stick when it comes to this final episode. Like we're just like, oh yeah, she's with him, or she's with the Raiders, and he's going off to look for like the Mortis gods. Like I was just like, that's all we get. Like that's it.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like they were kind of shoved in at the end, but
Yeah.
Well, I think that with the way a lot of these different paths kind of ended, the way the cliffhangers all was definitely setting up for a season 2 or that alleged movie, that's coming
right,
out.
For sure. And the Stanleys brought up this going back to like Thrawn. I don't know. Do you think he was upset? Like, I don't know if he really cares about Morgan. Like, I just feel like he sees her as an asset.
I'd be surprised.
Yeah. Because
like, we gave her all those upgrades for nothing. We gave her a cool sword. We gave her the Night Sister magic. And what does she do? She dies.
She bought him time.
Yeah.
She bought him the time he needed, and you got to remember too, Thrawn is out for himself and just dominating. Like anyone who has read the Heir to the Empire trilogy knows the type of strategies he has and the kind of person he kind of is. He's definitely one not to reckon with. Like that is one thing about this show that people who aren't familiar with Between Rebels or even novels or anything, they're kind of like, oh, what's the deal with this guy? Whereas us, we're like, yo,
like let's go.
It's like stuff is about to go down, like you don't realize, but it's nice to kind of see how everyone's been kind of saying like, oh, this is kind of foreshadowing to the First Order, and seeing where it goes from there, because these are kind of little inputs that we don't see in between of those timelines. Like we know the Rebel Alliance, like how they get the plans and everything to the Death Star. We know like some of the aftermath of Return of the Jedi, but not too much to an extent. There's still little gaps that need to be filled in, and these villains or past villains or even new villains that are getting introduced, it's if you know, and if you don't, get ready, kind of thing.
Yeah. I can't wait to binge watch Ahsoka with my parents, because they know who Ahsoka is, because me watching it as a kid, like she's on TV, like who's that character? Oh, that's Rex, that's Ahsoka, and all that. They've never seen Rebels, they've never gotten into the comic books, so Thrawn's they're gonna be like, who's this blue guy? I'm like, don't understand.
He is everything.
You will never understand.
But talking about like, introducing new or, people who are new to the show, like not knowing characters, like, bro, how crazy. We got the freaking Mortis gods, man. Like just seeing the statues and Balin on top of this kind of like, Lords of the Rings style statue.
I was gonna say it was like the kings. It was like the king statues, but then I didn't immediately picture it as the father right away until it backed up, and because the first thing I saw was the son, and then I looked back, I was like, that is the father.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, you're fine, man. No worries. But what do you? There's got to be some symbolism here because the daughter's gone. Like it's broken. Like,
well, I think this was my view on it. I think the daughter's gone because she like gave her spirit to Ahsoka. I think that could be an easy.
You see the Morai too.
Easy one, but at the same time, we see him at the end. When I first like looked at it, I was like, oh, that's like a perfect representation of Balin, because obviously just the way the statues are made, if it was real, it wouldn't correlate. But the way that they made it out to be with the fist being out on the father and stuff, I think it represents really well that it's like, all right, the brother and the father are there, and he's obviously like a gray Jedi, and he's in between, he's on the father's hand, but it's still the brother and the father, which kind of show. And then also on top of that is, I feel like we were somewhat joking, or at least took it way less serious, but I think there's a lot more possibility that Abeloth could be.
Dude, I'm thinking it's happening, dude.
And that even leads me to, I was going to say before, is when Shin's leaving and stuff. I don't know if I would love to see Balin be recast or anything. I think a good way to do it logically, obviously, if Balin went to get Abeloth out and stuff, I think that would be like, what the heck are you doing? Like, that's a super dumb idea for anybody to do, I think. And he seems like a pretty rational guy. But if Shin is, you know, with those people and stuff, and eventually like, I need to go find my master. Like he probably went here, and she finds all this stuff, and then essentially is like, let me do what he was gonna do, and then doesn't realize that he's gonna be releasing Abeloth. That would be a good way to set it up.
For sure, he could definitely.
I don't know.
Story live on through her.
Well, I think what he could do is maybe he wants to become a god, like you were saying. Maybe he's trying to unlock being like, because that was the next question I was gonna ask you guys. Is like, what do you think he's looking after? Like, maybe he's trying to become a god and somehow unlocks Abeloth. He doesn't know he's doing that, but unlocks that, and maybe he thought the power was calling to him to become one of the Mortis gods or something like that. But really, it was Abeloth being like, "Hey, let me out so I can wreak some havoc on the universe."
It would make sense because that is the type of character Abeloth is. You know, she's been trapped in Sinkhole Station forever. She will continue to be there until Fate of the Jedi. You know, it's not canon because it's not a show or movie, but that's allegedly what happens to Abeloth if they're going to pick from that. But that is a very dangerous thing to do, bringing a character like her in. Because if I'm going to think of like the most EU thing, overpowered creature to bring in, it would be Abeloth. And we're coming up close to the sequels. So if you're going to introduce something like Abeloth, you can't tie it up to the sequels and then have it butt heads. She's going to take the show. That's a whole new trilogy waiting to happen. That's a big deal. Bigger than Thrawn, allegedly bigger than Palpatine. You know, it's a huge thing in the EU.
The only way I could see it happening is if everything happened in this universe that they're in right now, because then no one else would really know what was happening.
That's what people are saying, like maybe Peridia is Mortis, because, I mean, you rewatch the Mortis arc, you even say Obi-Wan's like, oh, I don't even know if we're in our same galaxy, you know?
Yeah. Well, this scene right here, there's literally this scene, because I went back and rewatched the Mortis arc. There's literally a scene just like this with Anakin looking at some light off into the distance on a mountaintop, like in the Mortis arc. So it could be, that could be it, man. Like this could, you guys are saying this could be Mortis or some sort of like conduit to Mortis.
Yeah. By the way, sorry I had to take that call.
No worries, man. No worries.
Miss that. Man. So my 2 cents real fast. I won't make it long. Man, I remember when this happened. I was like, yes, I can't wait. Oh, because so this is what he was after and everything. I love the fact that they put the statues out there because of their influence and everything like that. I mean, it makes sense. They're like god deities, and then I went back and rewatched like a bunch of things to like refresh my brain and everything, because that's my favorite arc during the Clone Wars. All the gods are dead. Anakin killed them.
Well,
the only one that's left living is Moron. They are dead.
Are they? Because I was like, the brother. I feel like
dead.
you could argue with the brother
they are dead.
whether he would be not or not.
But
their mural with the thing.
Their mural moved in.
Then after the father did that, because all their stuff came from him, and then after that, rest in peace, Sam, son. He got stabbed through that, robbed him of his power, everything. Now that brings me to this. Morai, the daughter is still somewhat alive. The Ahsoka thing. Going to the Abeloth thing, if they did that, because I reread like a lot of stuff and redid some everything. I was like, man, after like 1,000 plus years, and again, JT, I think something like that. They would always check on that little sinkhole station where she's actually at, just in case, because they were all in agreement after that, the whole water thing. And if you want to read about that, go read about it.
And they have to carefully check it as well, because Abeloth has the power to possess people across the galaxy, like Cthulhu-esque.
Yes. So if they did do it, they would really have to do that great. But what I vision that as, and I don't think that's a backdoor to Mortis. The closest thing you can get to that is the World Between Worlds, because that's their doorstep. However, that could be like a thing that they left behind of like, hey, check this out. I mean, we'll have to wait and see, but all I know is you involved something that the Mortis gods left behind or looked at. you've already had my attention through the whole show. Now you really have my attention. That's something George Lucas, Christian Taylor, and Dave Filoni really, really made back in the day. So that's a big one. So Ray Stevenson, amazing character, Baylan Skull, to do that is a heck of a surprise, and I was just happy. That's my 2 cents. I was happy, and I was like, I got to read some stuff.
Well, it's like you're excited for like that part of the show. Like, I was like, I feel like I'm almost like more excited than like seeing what Sabine and like Ahsoka are doing, because like that's like the Clone War, like the Mortis arc is like one of like the, if not the like the best arcs in the Star Wars Clone Wars. I mean, everybody has their favorites, but like usually when you ask somebody what their favorite arc is in the Clone Wars, I would feel like majority of the time they're either gonna be like Umbra, Mortis, like
mine's
like
Citadel.
I mean, the Citadel's really good too. Like that's what I'm saying. There are a lot of good arcs, but like usually Mortis is brought up like I feel like it's brought up most of the time, and it's just like I really hope I want to see more. I want to see like what he's after, and like because it's like there's so many theories out there. It could literally be anything. There's so many theories, and that's what I like about this show too. Is like I feel like I said, like I'm not trying to like hate on Andor because I actually really enjoyed Andor, but like Andor didn't make me theorize about anything. I was like, I enjoyed the show, I enjoyed watching it, and that was it. But like I feel like with this show, I'm like, oh, like what's going on with this? Like what's going on with this? Like it could be this, it could be that. Like I feel like there's way more of a debate with this show than like any other show that's come out of the Disney Plus era of Star Wars, which I love obviously because I like talking to you guys, So it's cool to see that,
Yeah,
absolutely.
But what did you guys think of the reunion with Hera? And I know some people said that they had a problem with it, just because there wasn't like a lot of emotion. But I would argue that there was. Like you see a mix of emotions go on.
I would have at least like a hug.
Yeah, true. That's fair. And like, where the hell is Zeb? Come on, bro. You can't have him in one scene. Like he's a part of the Rebels crew. Like we get.
They didn't have the budget.
I know.
They just said that he was off training troops.
I know, but come on, man. Come on.
Kind of like Cara Dune. She's off doing freelance work for the New Republic.
Yeah.
That's how you get rid of a character, seriously.
Yeah.
Man, it was good that we got the Murdroid 5000 to recognize who that was before he slaughtered.
Yeah, instantly. He was like, oh, I know who this is.
Yeah.
Could you imagine just boom, there goes Ezra.
Yeah. Hey, got back. Oh God! Someone check out the helmet. Oh,
that ship comes in through a new portal and watch. It's like Cad Bane in a clone disguise or something. It's the wrong hangar.
You thought Boba killed me? Starts blasting everyone
off planet.
I imagine how hard it's gonna be for Hera to explain all this other stuff that Ezra tells her if they didn't want to believe some of the other stuff. So there's these zombies, and then there's the witches, and then like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I don't mind Mary Elizabeth Winstead's, acting as Hera.
I thought she did good.
But there's just something off about seeing her standing taller than Ezra. like another foot taller than the guy. I don't know.
I mean, she did marry Obi-Wan Kenobi, so I guess she did inherit some high ground. I don't know.
Oh, Charlie.
What? It's logic. It's science.
Oh, the Stanleys was saying that they filmed it separately and it was edited together.
Oh.
Which would have been kind of I don't know why they would do that. Maybe just scheduling conflicts or something. But
yeah, that can make sense.
But yeah, I think I definitely agree with Stanley. It needed the Zeb. Zeb needed to be there. But hey, maybe we'll get that in a season 2 or the movie or something like that. Maybe movies tend to have a higher budget, so I'm sure we'll see him in the movies. But what do you think Thrawn knows about Luke?
No.
Because he was pretty surprised that Ahsoka was Anakin's apprentice. Do you think he knows about? Because like he knows that the Empire's fallen, but does he know how the Empire's fallen by the son of Anakin?
I think there is a chance he knows based off of like the way I connected things, but I would also say there's a good chance he doesn't. But I do think, because I think we talked about it in the chat a little bit or something. Maybe someone else mentioned it, but how when Ahsoka's flying and stuff, and they're like, oh, Ahsoka made it. He's like, is it just her, or is there any other people with him? that instantly took me back to when we first see Luke show up in Mando, and they're like, one starfighter? Like, that's it? I'm like, oh, that's that one other starfighter that Thrawn might be talking about.
Oh,
like,
I didn't even think
it's
about
not
that.
just, let's hope it's one and not Luke as well. So, because I mean, he's going to be scared of Luke. Like, it's not that it's Luke, it's that it's another Skywalker. So he's like, oh, crap.
And also, he's responsible for pretty much destroying the Empire. I mean, obviously there was more rebels and stuff like that, but he was the one that, he's like the poster boy for like destroying the Empire. So I just wanted to get y'all's opinion on that, because I saw that I posted that meme yesterday of like the penguins or whatever, where he's like Thrawn realizing that Luke is still in the galaxy. He's like, oh,
yeah. Oh, that's priceless. Yeah,
but then
imagine. Yeah,
go ahead.
No, I was just saying, just a funny little thing. Him dealing with his PTSD from Space Wells. I'm pretty sure he'll be like, "Finally, I'm out. Oh God, thank heavens, I'm out." Oh, okay. What up? What happened? What's up here, guys? What's happened? Well, we lost the Death Star. What? Well, I didn't care about that too much. I didn't care about that too much, anyways. I tried to warn good old Sheev about that. What else? We lost the other one. He built another one. All right. What else? Well, we kind of lost. Really, man, y'all lost everything when y'all lost me. Good thing I'm here. Why? What happened? Some guy, like a pilot, and he has a green like lightsaber now. Skywalker, what? And just get like a thing, just like going panning back to when he's like, who is Ahsoka Tano's master? Are you sure about this? It's like just a meme of a Keanu Reeves Baba Yaga thing. It's like, oh, and just like I can't escape him. No.
I want to see Luke Skywalker walk into the Death Star and kill 3 Imperials with a pencil. Pencil.
But then we get this final scene, man. I want to talk about this final scene because it was something to behold. We get the man, the myth, the legend himself.
Insert Linkin Park. Yes.
I love, Mike was talking about how it was paying homage to other movies and shows. Like, really, Dave I feel like he was doing it. I feel like every episode we talk about like how like it's resemblance to something from one of the movies that George created. And this was very much, I feel like, a Return of the Jedi. The Ewoks celebrate, and there wasn't much celebration, but there was the campfires and stuff like that. And it was kind of trippy to see that. Also, Sabine kind of saw it. She's like, "Oh, there's like she said, what did she say? Like flickers in the mist or something, or dust in the mist or something like that.
Shadows in the night, midnight sky, or something like that. Yeah.
I don't think Sabine saw Anakin at all.
No, I don't think she did. I think she just saw like glimmers or something like that. But it was still cool to see. Like, I can't believe we got him in his, he's still wearing his Revenge of the Sith stuff. So that's kind of interesting. Because in Return of the
Force Ghost, he can do the old look. He can pull out the Return of the Jedi white thing in case he can basically go in his closet and just like white, nah. Brown robes, nah. I'm gonna go. Let's just appear like this.
Well, I like how he was like, "Screw this." He's like, "I don't want these like basic ass Jedi robes." He's like, "I want my old outfit back." And like, I can imagine him like being like, "Nah."
Bringing it back.
Well, one could even argue that in Return of the Jedi, he was only in those white robes to show Luke that, "Hey, I'm with the good guys. I'm redeemed. True. Thank you for doing that. Now back to my cool clothes." Right? And I hate how people are arguing that too. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he wasn't in his Return of the Jedi outfit. That's such outfit continuity breaking. I'm like, okay, Mr. Know-It-All about everything about Force Ghosts. Tell me why. I work at Lucasfilm.
It just makes you want to bust into like a Chris Barr thing. Look here, can you not appreciate what we got here? We got Hayden Christensen, for the love of Tom Cruise.
No, because if you say that, and then if you say that, they'll say, "Oh, you're just a shill because you like member berries."
You need to go down to the river and just get. Just.
Guess I like any excuse to see Hayden.
I think it would also kind of be weird if he had his white robes on, because like literally like 3 scenes ago we see him in his Revenge of the Sith outfit. Like, I know he had that in, but the point is like the reason why he had white robes in Return of the Jedi is because they CGI'd his face onto Sebastian. I forget.
Yeah.
Is it Stan? Shaw?
Shaw. We're used to saying Stan because of the
yeah,
the
Stan. Yeah,
Stan.
That would be
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker, my friend.
Yeah.
But like, that's the point blank. That's why they probably added some like more lore based stuff. But the reason why is because they CGI'd Anakin's face onto it, and it was made in the 70s or not 70s, sorry, the 80s. That's the real reason why. But I don't know. I feel like that's such a little nitpick that like just like what Charlie was saying, like just be happy we got him back, man. Like we got him back like 4 times. Like who would have? I would have never. I was like, oh, I figured he would just have like one cameo in this whole show, and we get him 4 times in the show. Like that's ridiculous. It's crazy.
Stanley's got the real answer here.
Exactly. That's why I was like, he knows.
That's why we're in the wash.
Things. Exactly. That's the canon thing of it right
wash.
There. True story. Yeah.
Nice.
Nah, I feel like fans are just sorry not to cut you off, but I just feel like fans are just nitpicking just to be like nitpicking stuff. Like
Star Wars fans, really?
Yeah. Why would Star Wars fans fight about the stupidest little things?
Well, here we are, like 15-20 years later, like just different arguments and different timelines now. But no, I'm very happy with what we got, and I'm just happy we're getting more Star Wars content. And honestly,
100%.
I'm hopeful for the future, like of content going forward. Like,
oh yeah.
There's nothing that's kept me like I'm not those fans that are like Star Wars is dead, but again, there was a time period where I was falling out of it, but certain content, Fallen Order, brought me back into the fandom and Mandalorian, and there's still good stuff out there, guys. So just shut up for once.
I think for some of us, and I'm going to say this, and I don't want to like if you like these shows, like I'm not trying to. I always try to say that like what you like, just because I say something or anybody else on the thing, like it doesn't take away from what you like. But I think, Kenobi, Boba Fett, even some could argue Mando season 3 kind of fell a little flat for some people. And that was years. Like we say 3 shows, but that was like years of Star Wars where that's majority of what we got. So it's like it's really refreshing for a lot of us. I feel like a lot of people who don't vibe with a lot of the stuff that Dave does, like it's because they're just popping in because they saw Grogu and he was cute, and it brought in a lot of normies, which there's nothing wrong with that. I always want more Star Wars people to talk to and have more Star Wars fans. Like if Grogu is what brought you into the Star Wars universe and you watch all the Star Wars now and you love it, great. Like that's awesome.
Everybody's Star Wars is their Star Wars.
But I think that's why a lot of the arguments I see for like this show and like not liking this show is because it's a lot of people who don't understand like the lore, the overarching lore, like what JT was saying. His parents are just casual watchers of Star Wars. Like they're not going to know who Thrawn is. They're not going to understand some. Not to diss your parents or anything, JT. I'm not trying to say anything. It's just like
dissing to myself by saying that. You're all good.
But you know what I'm saying. It's like I feel like a lot of people don't like they're not like the I guess sweaties, I guess would be like the words for it. Like I feel like the sweaties really appreciate a lot of this stuff because a lot of people chalk it up to like, oh, Dave's just giving us member berries. But I'm like, no, he's like building on lore that's already been pre-built from the past stuff that's been lacking in a lot of Star Wars content that makes a lot of the Star Wars content fall flat because they're not paying homage to what George created before. And I think that's the real key success to making good Star Wars is you have to pay homage to the man who created Star Wars. Yep. I feel like that's really what feels the most real and the most alive.
And the most real for me being episode 5 of this series. I mean, I've been wanting that since I was a kid. Like if you were to ask me anything that I would want into live action, it would be live action Clone Wars.
Oh, 100%. When we need a show, or it's like now's the time.
This is before we need a show. People had time to sit down during COVID, before Clone Wars was like the popular cool thing now that it's more well known.
Yeah.
This is just like random show on Cartoon Network. Now it's on Disney XD or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, So that hit really deep, and it still is. I'm still on cloud 9 from that.
Oh, same. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll never. What's the? Is like the. I'm trying to think of the meme. It's like I'll never financially recover from this or something like that. It's like, I feel like that's like that, and like mixed with the guy that's like emotional damage, like that show,
Right.
like that show. But the Padawan mentioned here, like Russell Crowe. Like, I mean, he definitely has the chops to do it. I feel like he could. I feel like he would have to definitely get on a workout program because he's gained a little bit of weight. But if he
Getting
could,
back to the Maximus Decimus Meridius workout.
yeah, I mean, I could vibe with that. I think he could pull it off. He's done some pretty intense roles, so I could
Pope's
see that.
Exorcist.
Yeah.
I just watched that. Crazy.
Yeah, that was pretty gnarly. Yeah.
And appreciate you stopping by and talking. We always love when we see new faces and stuff like that. So I'm glad.
Yes.
I'm glad we get that. But that's all I have, guys. I unless you guys have more to add. We're at an hour and 34 minutes.
Yeah.
So like I feel like that's a good pod, man.
I'll put a PS on this just because Renegade for life. I can't tell me what to do. Is I really enjoyed this show so much. Yes, like 1 through 6, my stuff. Everything else, DLC. Happy to add stuff into there. This goes in there, and the sheer amount of happiness. Yes, Kenobi is one of mine. That it goes in mine. However, I love how a few of us in here had a picture of us that made it on the internet where I'm doing this and I'm punching air because I'm so happy. And the fact that we got to do that in a watch party and watch
freeze frames,
it was priceless. And I don't think I will ever forget that feeling. And it was just flipping amazing. And
being able to watch that with you guys and having that moment of like literally all of us like melting. Like
Charlie, bring it here. You son of a bitch!
You son of a! It's inverted. Oh God, I'm sorry.
What's going on?
Yeah, there you go. We did it. Nailed it. Anyways, that's it. Just so many great memories of this show and doing a watch thing and just having because grew up Clone Wars, prequels, OT, whatever, and you have those like little moments like, it's him. It's Rex. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And just stuff like this, and then you get the callbacks, Thrawn, for the originals and stuff like this. Just, I had such great things list. So people that were there and people you can chat with, I just want to say thank you.
Oh yeah.
I have spoken. Callback.
This last episode didn't have entirely finale vibes, but it made up for it in my mind with the way they cliffhangered it for that buildup of what it's gonna be. And like what Sarah said, I'm hopeful for what's to come because there's a lot of cool stuff that we were left off on.
It definitely makes you want more.
Era.
That's for sure. Yeah. But yeah, I completely, and it's interesting to see. I'm curious to see how shows like the Skeleton Crew and stuff like that do, like now that we have this, like not saying the Skeleton Crew is going to be bad because it sounds like the Star Wars Goonies sounds like a really interesting thing, but I'm so interested to see because like tying this into, I think Dave is really playing into, because he comes from animation, playing into Rebels. Like there's so many people that love Rebels. There's so many people that love Clone Wars with Skeleton Crew. And I'm trying to think of like, what's Acolyte. I've heard good things about Acolyte, but like those being kind of like newer topics, I'm interested to see how they do. And also when we get them, because like the strikes still haven't really, like they've concluded, but they haven't concluded. So like we could be, I mean, don't you guys worry. We got plenty of content down the line with all
I was in Celebration. I seen the Acolyte trailer and I would say that you're gonna like what you see.
I mean, it sounds sick as hell. So I mean, I'm pretty excited, but like we're not probably gonna get that till the end of next year. If that.
At least with this show, Pat, I agree with what you said with like the Hera and Ezra thing too. But the show definitely wasn't perfect. It had some things that were annoying and like, why did you do it like that? But the majority of it was more positive than negative, and
I agree.
That's where I'd leave it at that. I think personally, I think Ahsoka and Mandalorian season 1 are the best live action shows for me, in my mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say just good show overall in a whole. It's like one of those things that not many scenes from any Star Wars has like left me like speechless or audibly like, yeah, let's go, or throwing my fist up there or anything like that. So the fact that this did that quite a bit, especially being a show. I mean, a lot of the shows have been good, but they've been really new, and kind of been like new stories. And obviously this is as well, but it's like all like, even with Boba, it's like it's about Boba, but it's a kind of a new Boba. Mando is new. Obi-Wan is like a newer-ish version of Obi-Wan. And this show felt really based and really just like, I think casting was perfect, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so hyped to meet some of the actresses.
Dude, I'm so jealous that you get to.
I'm like, that's going to be so hyped. And yeah, it was freaking awesome and left me like just wanting so much more. So yeah, when it comes to whatever's coming next, it's just like we've been every episode, you know, obviously not on here, we don't talk as much, but all of us in our group chat are always like, what's going to happen? And that doesn't happen a ton. Me and Sarah were just saying like, it doesn't happen a ton, like to us Star Wars fans. Like we know everything that's going to happen pretty much. And now we're stuck. Okay, now we gotta wait another year, a year and a half to know what's gonna happen. And
I know, dude.
That's gonna build this. Like we're gonna be sitting in Japan or something like Ahsoka comes out next week or something like that.
Oh, dude, that'd be cool.
And,
very cool.
Yeah,
that was cool. In London, we were actually able to do a watch party with the new Mando episodes that come out, and actually see it early as well in that new panel. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to being excited each week and watching it with buddies. You know.
Oh yeah.
Well, even trippy to think like just I don't know if you were there, but just it feels like just the other day we were watching the trailer for Ahsoka, like the first big trailer for Ahsoka in London, and
we
now
saw
like,
Ray Stevenson on stage. Yeah,
that's so crazy.
So on to the next, and it's gonna be good.
Okay. Well,
it's mind-blowing. I love it. Here for the content and getting to have this interconnectivity with everyone is literally beyond my wildest dreams. Like I never thought, like if you told me last year in December I was going to start talking to a bunch of people who love Star Wars just as much as I do, just theorizing and talking on podcasts, making videos, making content, like I would have laughed because there's no way I thought this was ever going to happen. And you know, Star Wars fans, you know, we've got the good and the bad, but overall the good. And I am just so happy and fortunate to be a part of this fandom and get to talk with fans all over and just be a part of it.
Heck yeah, man. I mean, that's what PMP's Den is all about. That's why I had it, because like, you know, I say I do a little bit of everything Star Wars, and I also feel like I bring a little bit of everybody doing a little bit of everything in Star Wars. You know, I wanted to create really like a community, because I was, you know, much like probably you guys, like I was always the sweaty Star Wars friend. Like I didn't really have any Star Wars friends. Like they'd seen the shows and like the stuff, but like they weren't like sweaty, you know, like we are. Yeah. And like it's just like you were saying, like if you would have told me, you know, I think I started this back in 2020. I want to say that's when I started like the channel and all that stuff, my Instagram. Like if you would have told me like today that I would have had this many like friends talking about it and nerding out, I would have been like, bro, you're tripping. Like that wouldn't have happened. I thought I would have had like maybe like a couple. Like maybe like one or two people who like talk with me, and now we got like a whole group chat of nerds that just love nerding out and talking. But
I mean, even besides like not having anyone to talk to, but being bullied in school for liking Star Wars to a very dark point where basically Star Wars, I can confidently say, saved my life. And just like you were saying, I would not imagine myself. But about a year and a half to a year and 3/4 ago, is when I made that jump to find the nerds online, group together, and it's a blast. I would do every first watch party again in a heartbeat.
100%. Well, thank you guys for watching. We always love having you come on and tune in. Make sure you go check out everybody's links down below. They make awesome Star Wars content, and you should go follow everything that they do because they're awesome. But thank you guys for watching, and as always, may the force be with you. We'll see you soon.
Stay awesome.